What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for the last of the series, the last of the transfer target series. And today we are going to be looking at the backup striker position with Carlos Vinicius seeming on his way back to Benfica. It doesn't look like we are going to be taking up that deal to take him on for next year. So we thought we would have a look at some strikers from around Europe who we think could be viable options for the backup position. There are some good options in here, and I mean, if you compare it to the kind of striker list that we put again to the main striker, I think I actually prefer this list potentially. But look, let's get into it and let's look at the first option, and that is Ivan Toney of Brentford, who's obviously had an absolutely astonishing season this year in the Championship. His market value, we put him as around 20 million. It remains to be seen if he'll want to stay or leave, because if they get promoted, they are in the playoff final. If they get promoted, then maybe he'll want to stay on for one more year in the Premier League to get some proper experience. Again,
I'm pretty sure they signed him for quite a substantial amount.
They signed him from Peterborough.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a tiny fee. But they have a conveyor belt over there, don't they, of strikers, Brentford? Morpie to Watkins to Ivan Toney. And each time they keep getting better and better in a way. And Ivan Toney has had another great season. He's 24 years of age. He'll definitely fancy himself in the Premier League. If Brentford don't get promoted, he'll definitely fancy himself as a backup, either to Harry Kane or if Harry Kane isn't at Spurs, he will definitely fancy himself as in the starting berth, I think. Another one who's really good physically, who's maybe not the fastest, but he's very good with his hold-up play, and he's one who I'll definitely consider bringing to Tottenham as a backup.
I mean, it says here they signed him in the region between 5 and 10 million.
Yeah, so for a Championship club, it's not tiny.
Yeah. That's been really good offer for Peterborough, that's for sure.
Definitely.
But look, I think he's one that would really suit us really well. Like I said, he's had absolutely amazing season. In terms of his league season, he scored 31 goals in 41 games. And the previous season for Peterborough, he scored 24 goals in 32 games. So
there you go.
He's got goal scoring pedigree about him, that's for sure.
Definitely willing, he's definitely wanting to move up the leagues, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that's the way he's headed. He's just banging them in. And it's only a matter of time before he finds himself in the Premier League.
Yeah, and obviously at 25 years of age, it could be the right time for him to move to the Premier League. That's if Brentford don't get promoted. But let's move on to the second option, and we're going to be looking at Christian Benteke of Crystal Palace. The renaissance of Christian Benteke, because you know he's actually in the last couple of weeks, last few months of the season, we've seen signs of the Christian Benteke of old.
Definitely, and maybe he's trying to play his way in for a contract for the new season. Now he's out of contract. He's on a free, so that'll definitely perk up Levy's ears for sure when he's hearing that information. And he has been really impressive in the last few weeks of the season, which is quite, after some couple of dreadful years really in front of goal, where I think he scored something like 3 and 5 goals in the past 2 years. I think he scored more goals this season than he has the previous two combined. But he does look like a player reborn a bit at the end of the season. Apparently, he's had this knee surgery, which has been holding him back, and now those troubles are behind him. And we all know Christian Benteke on top form is one of the hardest strikers to deal with in the league. His strength, his heading ability is brilliant, and I can't think of too many players in the Premier League who, when coming off the bench, for example, when you can definitely cause a lot of havoc in the box if you're pumping balls into him if we need a plan B. So, although you might laugh at it, I actually think he's quite a viable option for the backup striker role, and it's definitely one where if we brought him in and just obviously did the medical and everything, see how he's doing, if he passes that and if he's fit enough, I think we should consider it. And it's obviously I'd rather someone else who's better, but as a free transfer, if we're struggling for an option, he definitely could be one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really do. And I think I've been impressed with him as well the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months of the season. On a free transfer, it's hard to sniff at it. And I think that when we're looking for someone to like kind of replace and replicate what Fernando Llorente did for us, he'd definitely be up there. Definitely.
Yeah, and maybe in a new environment as well, with a better set of players than Palace have, he could even be better.
Let's move on to the third option is Moussa Dembele of Lyon. Obviously, he was at loan at Atletico Madrid this year, but really didn't go
Hasn't
well
worked
there.
out, has it?
Hasn't worked out well at all.
No.
But I've been impressed with him every time I've seen him play. Definitely, he was amazing for Celtic, obviously, and I think for Lyon he was having a good time as well.
Yeah, and he's still young. He's still 24. So he's still got quite a bit of time on his side. And another one who's his best role, especially for Lyon, was coming off the bench and scoring. I remember against Man City in the Champions League quarters, he came off the bench and scored 2 goals to get them the win in that game. So he's one who's very, very good off the bench when you need to change the game. It hasn't worked out at Atletico at all, and apparently they're not going to take up the option to sign him, but he's definitely one. He could be like Origi kind of thing. That's how I see him. Like, definitely one who's very good poacher off the bench, very good, and could be a very good sub-striker for us. So I think another one, Moussa Dembele, who I think could be a good signing for us.
All right, and the next option we're going to be looking at Danil Marlon. Off PSV. We've put him as a market value around £30 million. What can you tell me about him?
Yeah, he's one who's signed actually from Arsenal, former Arsenal player, and has really had a breakout season this season in the Eredivisie. 19 goals in Holland for PSV. He's going to be going to the Euros as well as a striker for Holland as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be starting every game, but he really has improved a lot. And he's won, again, 21 years of age. He's had a bit of a breakout season, so if we can get pounce on this opportunity, kind of beat the competition, because I think he's another player who in a couple of years' time could be worth a lot more money, and he's one who could easily develop. And as a young striker, he's definitely one who could be with us a long time and develop into someone really special. So Danil Marlon is definitely one who I'd like to bring in. He's very, very quick as well.
Although I know that not the attributes wise, but they did say very similar about Vincent Janssen. You know, he came from that league very young,
true,
with a big future ahead of him, and you know he's just fallen off a cliff since he joined Tottenham, pretty much.
Yeah, but look, the transfers from Holland are always going to be very hit and miss. That's always been the case. But for every miss, there's also a hit. So yeah. I think Danil Marlon could definitely be one to consider for sure, and especially from PSV, he would definitely be willing to come here, I think.
All right, and the last one we're going to be talking about is Wout Weghorst of Wolfsburg. And I think that I've been following him quite closely this season. I think he's been absolutely sublime. And I think he's a big part of why Wolfsburg have had such a strong season this year. And he was also one that we were linked with last summer. And, you know, I thought we really should have got him last summer. We really should have, man.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I think he would have been absolutely fantastic if we would have got him through the door, because the season he's had at Wolfsburg has been absolutely brilliant. He's such a unit up front. He's even more to an extent than Benteke. He's even more trouble. And he's basically, for me, a Benteke but with a better finish. Maybe his pace is still, maybe Benteke's got a bit more pace about him, but Weghorst has definitely much better technical ability, much better finisher, much more of a handful in the penalty box, and he's absolutely brilliant, but he'll be a lot more expensive. That's the problem. And another one who's probably going to be going to the Euros with Holland this summer, so one to look for, one to watch closely. But he's had a brilliant season. I think 20 Bundesliga goals he's had this season, so definitely one who, if he's available and able to come, definitely I would snap at that chance if we can afford it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I said, I've been really impressed with him this season, and I think he's one that could do that Llorente role to a T, down to a T as well. So look, those are the 5 options that we've brought up. Let me know in the comment section below which of those you would take. Who would your number 1 option be?
Out of those choices,
yeah,
who would my number 1 be?
We've got Toney, Weghorst, Moussa Dembele, Marlon, and Benteke.
Probably Weghorst.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think you can't argue with the season he's had. You just can't. Yeah, so those are our options. Also, let me know if we have missed out anyone, if there's any viable options that you can think of. Put them in the comment section below. One that comes to my mind is Patson Daka from RB Salzburg. So I think he could be a viable option as well, because he was one that was linked with us last summer as well. He stayed there and he's had another great season. So he's definitely one that we should be looking at as well. But those are the options we've picked out. Let me know in the comment section below which one you prefer. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.